hang on to those questions for me just so we can get off this noisy street corner. I'll explain over the next 2 spaces. This is also a learn as you go kind of mentality. So the first thing we're actually going to be using is thermal imaging. So why would we want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt?
Looking for cold spots?
Right, exactly. We're looking for cold spots. So keep it simple. I appreciate that. Most people like go after like, we're looking for the heated ghosts. I'm like, no! So you guys should be able to see me in there, the red, orange, and yellow guy, right? So that means I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. Sorry, fellas, but that's just the way it works out. It's bridal parties that kills, just so you know. She's losing her shit over here. You guys all hear this? He's got jokes! He's got jokes! All right, so the reason I point that out is because we're looking for those cold spots that are going to be blue and black. So blue and black spots, I want them to either move or to take shape on their own. When I say take shape, I want heads, shoulders, moving arms and legs. You guys getting the point of this? So with this particular camera, does it capture something every single night? Not necessarily. But when we do capture something, it is a holy shit moment. I'm just going to put it out there. So again, this is always caught in review. I've yet to capture anything in real time with this camera over the past 4 years of giving this route. But this particular camera has always been a staple because it's the most fun to watch. The cool thing for you guys is on your video that you're going to get back, there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. It is showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. That I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops. Tonight is 71 degrees, so I'm going to be looking for 56 degrees and colder coming out of that blue dot, just so you guys don't know. So with this particular camera, as great as the you were kind of holding yours like YouTuber already, so I was like, oh, let's see if we can get those things focused. It doesn't always need to be on me either, just so you guys know. So move around a little bit. Again, nice slow motions. I know you're not ignoring me. You're going to get the history through the audio anyway. So they had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for secondary clues. We need to know which Charles is actually coming from the field and that it is Charles. So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution of South Carolina. It's a big deal for us. I hate politics more than anybody here. We're going to move on. Let's talk about Eliza. So it's not Women's History Month, but I'm going to go through it anyway because nobody else does. Keep in mind there's people walking by. There you go. Good job, though. Andy's coming. Anyway, so Eliza, she married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. What was it?
Expired.
I heard, what about rights?
What was it?
What about rights?
That's a good
What
question.
about rights? Interesting.
Maybe you need a care.
Let me give you the layout of the land so that makes a little bit more sense. The mansion actually stood in the front of the space. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. What about rights? So, again, take that for what it's worth. Anyway, back to Eliza. Married Charles according to today's standards. I bring that up because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect numbers like 12 and 14 from the colonial times that she came from when women got married at that age. I can't even call them women, they'd be girls. But think of today's standards because her husband was over double her age when they married. A creepy age gap.
45.
There it is.
Really?
The husband was 45 years old when
Just
he got
said
married.
45.
Nice. Remind me, I gotta write that. Welcome to my world.
Crap.
So, he was over double, so you can kind of take a guess that Eliza was either 22 or 23 years old. So, she was 22, just so you know. Because I say over double, because
Thighs, arms. I don't know, I just said thighs, arms.
thigh is interesting. And
Is this do you not want this? Is this annoying?
no, you're good. I'm used to it. Again, I've been doing this a long time. But anyway, let's get back to Eliza. She married Charles because her husband, or her father, was over in England. He thought he was dying. He was trying to bring all his children home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying. Instead, she stays put and she gets married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that specific year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. She married him out of love. This is a true love story. Please don't poke the bear and look for foul play. There isn't any. Trust me, I've dug. It's not there. Be respectful while we're here. So she was right, by the way. Dad didn't die right away. So instead, he started sending her gifts from England to where we're standing right now. You guys have been here for at least a day or your whole life. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. That was one of the things that he sent over were the plant seeds for indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes her blue jeans blue. None of you are wearing it tonight.
Big
Holy
cash
shit.
crop.
Maybe you got that.
Yeah, I got it.
We'll take it. All right,
Big
so,
cash crop.
so when she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with it. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated.
Dollars.
Oh, I heard $150,000. Just dollars.
I can't think of anything.
Might have been more significant.
Yeah,
but
might have been. I also numbers and names usually don't lie with what you guys are listening to, so that's usually the things that stand out to me. But anyway, when she learned how to keep it cultivated and learned how to make the dye, she moved it to a cash crop plantation down by the Snowden River, got hold of rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this industry. We now have an international business woman going on.
Customers want to buy.
So, that's why she called her dad. She needed those international contacts. That's the boring business shit of Eliza. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are all here. Ouija board. Let's start with you.
Okay.
So, I want you looking for Eliza's initials.
Okay.
So,
ELI,
Jacob,
you said here.
ELP.
ELP.
The
Okay.
ELI would have been part of her full first name of Eliza. So you already had ELP is her full initials. So Jacob, with yours, and this kind of ties in with your device as well. There are two Elizas, two wives of Charles named Eliza back to back. So either a jerk move or really smart. Both Elizas have the initials ELP.
Okay.
So with your device, we've seen which Eliza is actually here based on the maiden name starting with the letter L. So again, kind of keep that in mind as you're watching your list. But ELP is going to be something, we haven't gotten a whole lot out of this device at this location. I'll tell you if something else pops up that's relevant.
Okay.
So this doesn't mean
Jump
anything.
10 again.
Yeah.
Nice.
Overconsume things?
Yeah, we're here a lot. Keep in mind, people are coming up
Listen
behind
to
us.
it.
So Andrew,
What are they talking about?
Bella, people are coming
No.
up. Bella, people are walking toward us.
Oh, I wasn't.
Yeah, you got to keep going up and down. So with your device, we're going to go after, how do I want to go about this? Do you know anything about the Pinckneys at all?
No, they're really historical family here.
Okay.
We saw the
Big money
we saw the
makers.
fort, Pickney Fort.
We're going to give you two sets of questions. So first off, the mansion's not here, right? What happened to it? When did that happen?
Okay.
Right, so you have a what, and then hopefully we'll get 2 or 3 numbers out of the date. That's normally what happens when we get the what.
Okay.
The other piece is the children. Don't poke the bear. This is a prominent English woman, and that goes for everybody. We will act respectfully while we're here. There are other spaces we can poke a little bit. This is not the one. The reason I say that is because this was a place I was actually looking to retire because I was getting disrespectful ghost hunters that were, yo, what's up, Eliza? Let's do this kind of shit. And it's just not how you treat a prominent English woman from the 1700s. So, the children, ask her how many kids she had, what their names were.
Ask her?
Oh, yeah. But after that, leave it alone. If she wants to take things further, there's a tragedy among those kids that if we
Yeah,
poke the
I
bear,
remember that.
all activity will stop. Just so you know. Don't poke the bear, we'll know it's you. Fair?
Fair.
You're already getting things about her death, so that's why I chose you for the death questions. You already know what year she died, but how did she die, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral.
Okay.
So again,
Okay. So when you say those questions, you mean you want me like asking them as a
whatever you're comfortable with. Some
Okay.
people will ask literally out loud. Other people just want to focus. I want you to also keep in mind we have 4 communication devices out here, plus 3 cameras listening to audio and my voice recorder. Everything you're using is a communication device. You might ask a question and not get a direct answer, but it might show up on her device. We never know where it's going to fall. You've already got 93 and 45, 2 very prominent specific numbers relative to Eliza Pinckney. So again, we never know where it's going to actually fall. And we didn't even ask the questions yet. But keep in mind, I'm here 6 to 7 nights a week, depending on the weather. She knows what the hell we're going to ask. So again, these are just common questions that we get the answers to. So we have a 10 EMF that's going on with your device right now. Anything higher than that?
Not yet.
And Jacob, anything come up on your EMF detector at all?
couple
No.
things? We'll look them up.
No, my word list is kind of useless, but I keep getting like 0.2.
Any of this? Judy.
No. So when that happens, I'm going to talk to you more. We're going to reset it. All right, so I am going to be mindful of people at their cars, but we are going to spread out, move around slowly. If people are going to their cars, do not go near vehicles at all. So that's kind of the mentality of this location. Just stay away from the cars. So everybody spread out, but I do need to keep Hunter and Christina so I can show them a little bit more about their devices, and then I'm going to bounce around with all of you, and you can tell me what you're hearing, what you're seeing, and those kind of things. I got to write down a few things before you guys spread out. So 24, 25, 45. Got a 10.0 milligauss, so that's your new baseline, just so you know. He's not getting jack on his. I might have to switch his setting. But I think that about covers it. So yeah, let's spread out, continue listening, let him take a gist of how that's actually working out. Same thing with the person. Give Bella help the other ear, but let her help you out. So let's get those things recorded and let's see what's going on. Alright.
See anything? Nah.
Oh, people. Anything?
I'm getting around to 2 near the road, but I don't know if that has anything to do with
I
it.
mean, there could be a lot of noise. Yeah, I'm getting like legit nothing.
We just gotta pee.
We can pee. And I was like, oh shit! Like when we got after we, I'm like, I should have ran in there real quick. This is pretty cool.
Are they infrared?
Just this whole thing.
Something about how much I gotta pee. Hey, buddy.
What's that?
You got a second?
We're a couple, so we get a box.
Okay.
I thought they already had a box.
Yeah.
I'll be here on the. Closest thing I got was a 2.3 near the road. Not quite what we need. I also can't stop thinking about how ridiculous we live.
I'm sure people are like, what are these people crazy? I didn't think of that. I'm like, we do look a little insane, but I think it's hysterical. I love this.
I'm fully into it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fully into it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's go for it. Shit, I'm crazy. It's cool.
Ooh.
Number one.
Oh, number one. Oh, okay.
Anything crazy coming out of yours?
Not really. I'm trying to set by people. I mean, it seems pretty same temperature for the most part.
And just like I told them with the cameras, that one, I put them up on YouTube. I watch them on a large computer screen, so that way I can see the whole picture. These smaller screens, again, aren't always a real-time moment.
Now, would I, theoretically, if I see him, would I see like a human-sized presence, or am I expect to see like a dot or something?
Both.
Okay.
It could be either way. I've also found heat anomalies, so I'll find like something growing in heat on the ground, and I say growing in heat, I'm talking like 10, 12, 14 degrees in a matter of seconds. That means that a cold anomaly is being generated nearby. I still want you to focus on the heat anomaly because that to me is just enough evidence.
Gotcha.
Temperature balances, it's not created.
Yeah, everything seems so far, I mean, obviously people move in, I'm trying to keep them in, but it seems to be...
weird with the camera because of the ground.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching this, I normally look at the walls because that's where I'm going to find the colder spots.
Oh,
the
okay.
wall is holding on to the day's sun, so that way when a cold spot goes by it, I'm obviously looking at those, but I also keep in mind like what the temperature of the wall is and so forth and so on.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of studying that goes into this, and I'm sure you'll find.
It's neat.
But as tech guys, tech people, I should say, you understand.
No,
So,
I get it.
Like being a writer, I also had to turn into a technical writer because I have to explain all this shit to you guys in your analysis
Nice.
when we find stuff.
Are you like a writer for like a newspaper, or like you actually like a book writer?
No fiction.
Oh, nice.
Fiction and non. So, I mean, obviously there's a blog, podcast, so that's non. And that's all of this. So,
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you've written.
yeah, again, and I don't hide anything. All your guys' data stays up on the website for an entire year.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to go back and look at another date, it's all there for speculation.
Cool.
So, we'll talk more about that. Diego, how's it going, man?
And then
That jumped to 0.9.
I don't know, man. My word list just said lie. I'm not buying it.
Why?
It just said lie.
We asked,
Okay,
was
so
her name Eliza, and he said, I see you.
Also, is your name Eliza? Is a yes no question. Again, there's always a way to reword it.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I'm a bad English teacher like that. Like, I will catch them every single time.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but the E thing, like, I'm cool with that. I know you were looking for the answer there, but it came up somewhere else. I've seen that before, too. So, again, we never know. But you're on the right path. I'm going to do one more round robin with everybody and kind of see what we got going on.
Okay.
Anything else coming out of you guys?
Never seems crazy, but I asked how many pallbearers that it's like. Say hi. Oh, I thought that was a question. What were the questions?
We heard the number 14.
Guess what the president? What number was 20?
And I heard Martha.
And you said, did somebody say 20?
I heard we said
20.
1450 is interesting. The number 14 is the number of years that Charles and Eliza were married. So, just interesting by itself. For the number 15.
I gotta go home, go now. Go home, go now. She asked the question.
these cars must have been here forever. Definitely cold.
Well, nice talking to you or something about that
She's done.
earlier.
That's definitely done. You want to grab them two for me, Jake?
Hunter.
We're going to go to the back.
Oh, cancel recording?
Yeah, go ahead and stop your recording. Again, other tourists do like to come through here. When that does happen, they will come out of that little, though you guys probably can't see it from your angle, but there's a little separating in the wall. They'll come out of the ivy, and there'll be 20 people coming out of there, plus a tour guide. Yeah. So, welcome to Charleston. We're allowed to go to 20. I just won't do it. We'll split the seas and just let them pass through, and I will stop talking, just so you know. I'll say, all right, two are coming through. If you're perfect, if you're already recording, and everybody else looks good on recording end, even with yours, if you want to kind of turn it behind you to get a nice cool. Like, there you go. There you go. Hold it upside down. Do whatever you gotta do. Make yourself. That looks awkward. You can make yourself comfortable. So what have we heard on the what have we heard on the spirit boxes along the way here?
We heard a bunch of numbers.
I heard it's just us.
Just us. Look at that. Anything weird come up on yours?
No, it spelled like L ran and then a bunch of random letters, so I cleared it. And I'm waiting to have 2 L's.
Anything come up on yours? All right. Anything on our word list?
On the word list besides holler and sir, we got nothing else.
What was the last one?
A sir?
Sir?
Yeah. S-I-R.
SIR.
Okay, sir.
Interesting.
And I have a question.
Yes.
If we have to pee really bad, what do we do?
We just passed up every available bathroom.
We should have stopped. I mean, I'm good. I'll hold it. I don't care.
Okay.
You.
When we go up to the next location,
We'll stop before.
well, there's a restaurant bar nearby.
Okay.
So, you can always. What's up?
Is there any chance I could go now? I'm sorry.
That's up to you.
Yeah, give me that stuff. I'll
So
do it.
if you leave the alley,
I'm getting.
make a left.
Take a left.
At this first stop sign, make a right. You're gonna fall into Tommy Condon's. So it's a restaurant. It's got a big green cover on the front of it, so it's pretty long. So that's probably the closest thing. So if you wanted to head out now, by all means, go for it. I'm gonna continue on.
Okay.
All right. So, welcome to Philadelphia Alley, by the way. This is not a place where we're going to be spreading out. We're hoping for bleed over. So like we got that Jonathan in 20 at the Pinckney Mansion site. That's what I call bleed over from the previous location. Again, I don't expect a whole lot to go on inside the alley. We may get some things in real time, but you're all going to be focused on me for the history. I'm hoping for the bleed over at the next location, which is across the courtyard this way. So kind of keep that in mind. But again, to understand the semantics of the alley, this is a weird place. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So, we all tell the same story of the same duel because we can prove that it actually happened. But I give you a little bit more detail because you're ghost hunting. You're not listening to campfire marshmallow stories. So, let's get into it. There was a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If you guys hear, look at that, the tourism officers are watching. So, welcome to Friday nights. They're always watching to make sure we're not going all the way down. So we'll see how long they stay actually up there.
Oh, like you're not allowed to walk down there. So
Oh, no, I've already been booted out of here.
Really?
Yeah, we talk about that at the end. That's the fun part of the story. As long as we keep things nice and quiet over here, we'll be good to go. We will exit the same way we came back in, just so you know. But anyway, he moves down here. By the way, if you two hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. It's actually part of his name, Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. So you guys get the point. However, let's move on. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. So she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd decides to come to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. As he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston. Somebody was walking by. His name is Ralph Isaacs. I stopped on Ralph, so Christina, you might want to focus up on this part because this is all about you. You went too far. Kind of far. So, with your particular device, it gives us letters. Ralph Isaacs has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We were getting RI all the time on your spirit boxes, so I bought Christina's Ouija board device to see if I can get the specific letters, and we have. So I've had that device probably 6 to 7 months now. We've had it probably 4 or 5 times, coming up specifically as I'm talking about it. So again, can't make this shit up, guys. Wish I could. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. You can stay there, rent a room, and you'll be good to go. Dr. Ladd took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's cash. So, Amanda gets wind of this, she's moving down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. I'm going to tell you right now, every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Keep that in mind. So we're going to talk more about the whistles later on. But Ralph and Dr. Ladd go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because, well, you're just
doing something weird, but it said Eric Rowan.
You're hitting all kinds of buttons.
I'm not trying
I'll
to.
hold that one.
I can't.
Yeah, I have an extra.
Too much shit in my head.
And we have the name Jack. So,
Eric Ruin Jack.
Yep.
I'm standing.
alright. So where was it? They go see plays, right? They go see Richard III from Shakespeare. And then they're walking home because they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. So they're talking about Richard III on the way home and the new actress that was in it. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. It gets very ugly. They go their separate ways. Now,
I heard
Ralph has...
criminal urges.
Oh, very interesting. Because Ralph went to the newspaper. He put an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Had a clear disgrace to society. That was it. Yeah, Dr. Bad saw the ad, rebutted with, let's go to George's Alley. Somebody came back. Came down, looked for 10 paces, came down, down in the air, and shut down. He didn't want to go straight. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened in a duel. But Ralph had his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So the doctor didn't die, just falls to the ground, wounded. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later on November 2nd, 1786. You did hear the number 2. I'm hoping the number 11 is going to be in there. You also heard the number 6, which is very vague. I would want an 80 in front of that to make sure we actually have the full year. So you did hear 2 and 6. So again, vague stuff. I want another connector. But I will tell you that every ghost tour that takes you down here will tell you to listen for the whistles. Obviously, we have the air conditioning running right now, but this place is normally pretty serene and quiet. Even on a busy Saturday afternoon, it's always quiet, aside from that loud-ass air conditioner running right now. So, they always tell you to listen for the whistles. You're using voice recorders right now, plus or on your video cameras, plus my voice recorder. You don't need to listen to them in real time. If you're going to try this on your own and use your voice recorders from your phones, walking all the way through here, just keep in mind every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. So again, I do it every single night. We passed my garage on the way here, so I have to pass the alley in order to go to my car. I always throw a whistle, especially since I got booted out of here. Here's the fun part of the story. You guys ready for this?
Among Us, tell him that.
I'll go through it.
That said,
I'm going to go through
does
it.
it tell you?
Yeah.
I couldn't find the history.
Oh, wow.
I'll go through it because I'm going to ask what's going on with your devices before we leave.
Got some good stuff.
He actually has the name Jack. I'm probably most excited about the name Jack, even though I haven't mentioned him yet. It's bleed over from the next location. So I'm actually really cool with that. So here's how I got booted out of here. This alley didn't go all the way through this way before it was Dueler's Alley. There was a wall up there. Why? Because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. It was cut off, which means those bricks on that end are older than the ones we're standing on. So, with that being said, those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint in one of those bricks along with some fingerprint swipes in those bricks down there. You guys have all figured out I'm all about accurate history, right? So I used to take my group all the way through here when I was new at this, the new tourism guy, right? So I know that that brick isn't going to draw any activity with your devices because I treat that the same way I do a grave. That kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. That's the last place you're going to find him. So my entire group on November 26th of 2020 is huddled around that group. All 10 people waiting for something to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen, and it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I was just trying to be respectful, not knowing I was actually out of bounds for tourism. We're not allowed in neighborhoods. So the new neighbor came out screaming. My daughter was on the tour and she thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. I will never work Thanksgiving again a day in my life, just so you guys know. So I didn't work that day. November 28th, Black Friday. I called my partner that I had at the time. I told him what happened and he said, you can't go that far. You're only allowed to go down halfway or reroute your group. So I decided I'm going to reroute the group. What I told that group on November 28th was I didn't believe in the next story. It was just, we'll see what happens. I'm a vampire guy. This is a pirate story. I'm not a pirate person. We'll see what happens. Before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I went, oh shit.
Because I heard Anne a minute ago.
We get up there. I told a little bit I did know about piracy at the time. Keep in mind that was many moons ago. Somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what that means in real time. Look at you getting the butt shot. I love it. It's like, check me out. Sorry, just had to point that out. But anyway, 300, I write it down, I research it the next day. Turns out we were there on November 28th of 2020, and Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. Wow. We were starting to go there on her exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial.
Damn.
So I went, shit, now I gotta learn about pirates. Here's my problem with pirates. It's pirate lore. I have a master's degree in creative writing and research. So, trying to piece together pirate lore for a factual paranormal investigation is
Really
difficult.
hard, yeah.
Yes. So, half of my library now is books on how to debunk pirates. So, again, everything we're about to discuss came from a minimum of 2 resources. You have to imagine with my work, I read a lot of books. So, worst case scenario, keep in mind it's also a hit or miss location. I'll explain why we're there, but it is a hit or miss location. We're either going to have a lot going on, like what we had at Pinckney Mansion, which I'm super proud of you guys, but we might not have anything at all because she's said to be seen all over town. you're going to get a great story about a crazy female badass pirate, of things about piracy you've never known before. So that's the whole point of why I wanted to keep this inside the route. I do change this up every year on our last stop. It is a lot different than what we've been doing. So we have the pirate story to go through. Hopefully some bleed over will come in from your spirit boxes from here. So kind of keep that in mind. You've been recording, Bella, you're going to get a job later. So she's doing fantastic. Anything crazy going on with your devices besides the name Jack, we're going to go this way. Anything, what was the last 4 or 5 terms that showed up?
Catalog, yard, formula, among us, each. And then there's an Eric in there.
I don't know who Eric is, but I'm going to find out. Yours was on mute. Any letters?
GKDNOPJPU.
Yeah,
I'm
nothing.
about to reset it.
You heard Anne?
I heard Anne as well as, what was it? Oh, the criminal urges. but
Criminal urges and Anne? Anything?
Nothing for a while. It's mostly static.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear it over here.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go learn about crazy pirates. We're going to go this way.
So what's up, bro?
Yeah, you can stop.
Record.
I normally take us to the back, but there's a lot of cars back there, so I wanted to kind of keep out of the way. But that little building over there is the gunpowder magazine. So we're here because this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start our new life. So by the way, those are not crosses on that building. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not from here and don't know what those are, it's basically if we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned, you can tighten those. They're turnbuckles. And it will tighten the building up so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, and it really, but I bring those up is because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. You guys have seen them all over town in the shape of pineapples and lion heads and all kinds of Charleston charm bullshit. That's the ones you really want to take a look at to see how crude they are. And the reason why those are the first ones that Charleston put in is because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina, finished in 1713.
That little
Again,
tiny
this building was being constructed at the same time she was coming here, and it took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. But again, I don't go into the architecture of it because it just bores the hell out of people, but it is fascinating. If you're into architecture, go ahead and look it up. You're going to have some links tomorrow anyway. But anyway, back to the building. Our story with Anne actually begins in 1708. So kind of follow me back to Ireland for just a second. There's a lot of twists here, so I will slow down on the twist. We're talking about a weird pirate chick, so it's going to get really weird. Anyway, young lady comes here by the name of Anne Cormac with her father from Ireland in 1708. She's with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that she had to leave the country? Those of you here that brought your significant others, don't piss off your girlfriends and your wives. So anyway, kick you out of the country. There's no planes in 1708 either, so they came here by boat. But they landed in Georgetown. That's just north of here, between us and Myrtle Beach. So it's about an hour and a half north. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. So that means he has to send young Anne down here to be able to sell anything from the plantation to help keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. This is just something she would recognize. For those of you that watch the TV shows, think of the same principle of using a teddy bear to attract a child ghost. It's the same type of mentality. Just something she recognizes. Anyway, fast forward. The building's set in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715.
Few things I've heard just so far that
Yes.
sound like hand, secret, forgive, roses.
Oh, and coming into this line, Del
Hey, I like Secret because it's been showing up here in different spirit boxes for probably the past 2 weeks. And the word roses, 59 Church Street where the doctor lived, we know it as the Thomas Rose House.
Cool.
I heard friends on the way over here twice.
Okay?
Just now I heard the number 795. And then I heard, was it, gosh darn it, 5 people taken.
And I heard 2020 and 200,000 in close time. Just trying to get the 2 across or something.
Okay. Jacob, you got something?
On our way here, I got anger and dress, and then I just got bounce. And then I've been at a constant 3.5.
We're near electrical pole.
Which, yeah, that makes sense.
So, EMF detectors, don't get excited up in this corner. Again, 2 electrical poles in the corners, and then on this front half, we're going to get the parking meters. So if you explore in the back of the lot, you'll get hopefully something out of that. It's not a whole lot. But anyway, back to Anne. So by 1715, pirates were coming through town, and Anne is stoked because she's trying to earn her freedom, just like a man. So she's going to fall in love with one of these pirates. Guy number 1, Yes, I numbered him because there's a handful, and we're going to go through them all. Guy number 1 is James Bonnie. You already see where this one's going, right? We've already mentioned her pirate name. Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. So,
The original.
interesting. However,
The OG.
James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow, like what she was hoping for when they got down to Jamaica. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British, a coward in her eyes. So, that's loud. You might actually have to move. This is really loud. Yeah, we're gonna move. Let's go back to the cement wall. Doing, man? That was Bella. She hasn't said a word all night.
He doesn't shut up. You got to tell him to stop the whole time.
No.
Hunter.
Home. I heard home and free.
I heard free. You heard free too?
Free has been popping up a lot.
Here we get out of our heat or our cold, like that's the place to go. All right, so where were
You
we?
both heard free.
Weird, because there's 4 lovers. And we're working on number 2. Okay, so guy number 2, she falls in love a few years later because she doesn't want the privateer guy, right? So guy number 2 is John Rackham, aka Calico Jack.
There it
That's
goes.
why
I heard 4.
So I'm excited about the name Jack that showed up. By the way, Calico Jack is the guy that they based your Johnny Depp character off of. So that's why she's excited, because this is the guy she actually wanted to begin with. He has his own ship, he has his own crew. You can't put a girl on a pirate crew because it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like the guys, look like the crew, you can be part of the crew.
Bullet.
So she is okay with dressing like a guy, look like the crew, because back home in Ireland, Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice to hide her from his wife. So she's good with this. So she's all aboard, but she's a female in his quarters. Let's put 2 and 2 together. We're all adults here. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to
A lot of beer.
She's a girl. So then they're going to boat Jack right off the ship. So what happens from there is he drops her off at Cuba. Go have the baby, come back later, we'll figure it out. So she goes and has the baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to this baby. By the way, none of my research has ever found it. So she comes back dressed as a girl, and this makes Jack pretty pissed off. While she was away giving birth, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. She's going to go flirting with that pirate crew to piss him off even more. We're on guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females trying to be pirates dressing like males. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know that for sure. But the British found out where they are. They sent an entire fleet of ships to take down one measly pirate ship. Anne and Mary, rumor is that they were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlocks against a whole fleet of ships. That's not going to work out very well for them. They get arrested. And as they're being arrested, Jack is being cuffed, and so is she. They're being tied, and she basically looks at him and says, Jack, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up on your spirit boxes a lot, just so you guys know. But anyway, the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. The 2 ladies go in front, reveal their gender, and he doesn't give a shit that they're female. He's still going to hang them because they're still pirates. We plead our bellies was the last thing they shouted out, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with his Irish money. He brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Yes, that was 1782 when she passed away. So Mary Reed died a few months later. I think it was exactly 5 months later, in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Most books would tell you that it was fever. I'm going to call bullshit and say, let's make it romantic. We're talking pirates. It's scurvy. Why the hell not? Bumpy and gross, right? So 2 things I left out of here, and I'll give you a handful of questions that you can ask that we've gotten answers to, but 2 main things are the names of Anne Bonny's parents. Notice I called them the father and the mistress. I did not give you their names. So again, you can normally ask those and get the answers if she's here. You can also ask the name of Calico Jack's ship. So I left that out purposely. So those are the 2 main ones. Side questions, the color of Anne Bonny's hair. You can ask what city she grew up in Ireland, like she'll give you that. And anything else you want to ask. This is one where you can poke the bear a little bit. So again, we don't need to be nasty, but we can kind of, hey, Anne, give us some shit, right? So we're talking about a female badass pirate. So with this space, again, we still have a lot of cars in here. Somebody is in that vehicle. kind of chilling. I don't know what they're doing, but we're definitely going to stay away from cars in here. Tours love to come through here as well, so again, keep in mind with your cameras, not to be filming them directly. Bella. I'm trying to get something out of you. You haven't said a word all night. I just wanted to, what? What did I do? Anything. Like, all I got was a... So definitely help her listen in with that. So we have gotten some weird anomalies with your specific camera on top of that garbage can, like a guy just sitting there, leg crossed, like very interesting stuff. Have you seen anything out of that camera yet?
The church.
When we were, right in front of the church, there was like these tents, and it looked like there was someone like up there, kind of like laying, kind of.
What church are you talking?
It was
Behind the
one
picnic
by the house. There was that
so
church.
the 5 Church restaurant.
Over to and then like there was like some tents, kind of like in the back there,
Okay.
like behind the wall next to the trash can.
And we got it on recording.
And there was like a shape, and then there were like a couple shapes, but I think it was mostly shadows, like kind of like floating in the air around, and they would like stretch out and stuff.
It will pick up shadows.
Yeah,
Just
but
so you know.
the most consistent one so far was that one on top of like that shadow. It was also the most huge. Yeah, it was,
I think
it was
it's
very.
Ah, don't touch that. Don't touch that.
YouTube cannot.
I don't want to be going up.
When you record it. That flashes light to get the depth perception, and that picks it up.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So I can't watch it either. So if it does come up, I'll definitely put the markers in there so you're not going straight to those markers. So again, my apologies. That was my mistake. Again, that camera's still new to me, so I always forget to throw in that, like, hey, don't point those at each other. I can't watch it. Kind of mentality.
No.
Spirit boxes. Anything else going on with yours?
Still 1.1, which makes sense.
1.1 is actually natural from the Earth, so that's why I go straight to that 2.5 for those of you that have another EMF detector. Any other words?
Just effectively, and I just got believe.
Yeah.
I got a quote-unquote 11 and 2. I don't know if that's supposed to be to add up to 13. I don't know.
No, 11 and 2 is the day that the doctor died, November 2nd.
I also got a very clear, and this is a while ago while you were talking, very clear moment. Yeah, it was weird. It was just like,
Eliza, who was saying.
it's so wild because you're getting all the static, then you hear something like super clear. You're like, oh my god.
I was thinking about days. I thought I heard Grover, and I was thinking about where in Ireland. I thought I heard Lime, like on a limerick or something.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that, but it's wrong. Just so you know. Again, it's a bit of a stretch. It'll come out clear as day.
Okay.
Trust me. That's the one that actually comes out pretty clear. Again, I'm stalling because of this person in the car. I don't know what's going on. Again, when we're out here filming and kind of spreading out, they usually get out and say, what are you doing over here in the church parking lot? This actually belongs to St. Louis Church. We're just here because this is close proximity. So, what do you two got going on with yours? Are you listening to?
Yeah.
Mostly static right now.
Okay.
90% static.
Anything crazy coming out of your camera?
No, I'm trying to stay away from
That
everything.
was
Nothing.
a real-time moment. All right.
Violence.
Again, with this being a hit or miss, I kind of know within the first 5 minutes. I'm excited about the 11 and 2. It seems like we're getting more bleed over from there than what we're getting about Ian.
Yeah, I haven't heard any names. I haven't heard anything about Ireland.
Let's go for something simple. And if you're here, just give us your hair color. You know how all of these little boxes work? And the color is red. I mean, it's a pretty obvious answer, right? So something short, one syllable, easy to give.
I got the initials.
Okay.
No, you started.
Ooh, I got a head. Yeah, that museum's only $5.
Yeah, this looks like
Those things are cool, like the plus sign. I never would have guessed what those were.
I hope there's a wedding or something. And people are coming out of here.
There had to have been. Their dresses are too similarly colored. I got border. I think my favorite word that I got was yank.
I'm excited about Jack. Like, hopefully we get something else specific about him.
People are running that car.
Holy shit. It's like a clown car. got disease. I mean, I'm sorry, disease?
You have a disease? What?
Could that have been the fever?
I see a ghost of Hunter.
A ghost of Hunter's Pass? I got the word disease.
Oh, good. These people are leaving finally. You can start looking this way.
Vague.
Large quantity of money.
Oh, shut up, freaking thing.
Yeah, it's locked.
Oh, come on, son.
You gonna go again?
No, I'm just saying. I could have just waited until we got here.
You can still pee behind it.
I'm not peeing behind it. I have to have something. I'm not getting anything anywhere else.
Interesting.
He was talking on the tour, and I look at my watch. It says, "You matched with somebody on Tinder," and I go, "Yo, not the time."
Maybe it's a ghost.
If I see, for some reason, this woman named bro, get the fuck out of here. Yo,
Wait.
show the camera on that part.
I got scared. I got a spirit.
No, we have to respect the ghost. What is the name? Shit. Hey, yo.
Was Jack a boy?
I heard.
Were you pregnant? Were you pregnant?
Jack wasn't a boy. Jack was the guy.
Did you eat rice here? About rice and sugar and having a big thing here. See that?
Say something. Scary. Say something scary.
Are you familiar with sugar cane?
disposable blindfolds. I do not want your eye boogers back. So those are yours. Your garbage, keep track of that. I will take it from you before we leave the space. It does have a wrapper. They're 2-ply. Lift up on the nose piece and tear it. It goes 2 little loops around your ears, not all the way around your head. So those 2 go to you. The noise canceling headphones, I'm also going to hand you while we're doing the history 10 feet away from you. So basically, in a nutshell, these guys open up like this. Get a feel for them because you're going to have to put them on after you're blindfolded. So kind of get a gist for those. So first one, I'll stick over here. Everything's been sanitized, so everybody knows. So in a nutshell, they're not going to know the history, guys. You guys, the rest of you, are going to know the history. We're obviously going to do an Estes Method session. And when we come back, after I give you the brief history, we're only going to go over to that statue, that quick monument. It's a 5-minute history. The fun thing about this whole place is I don't know everything yet. I've only been coming here since November. So they've been teaching me things of the people going underneath the Estes Method. Do you guys understand like why we're not giving them any information whatsoever?
You go spew it.
Alright, so we're gonna let them play with their stuff.
As soon as he said, like, oh yeah, as soon as he said, oh yeah, these masks are clean, it's impossibly. I don't know what's up with this word list, but it's funny as hell.
Alright, we'll be back in 5. Alright guys, come on over this way. First time I came here, I had no idea what we were going to find. Funny thing is, she's already got the year of this specific thing. First time I came here, the young lady heard, I only had 2 people. She heard 1829, the name Henry, and then the name Tim showed up on the word list. Behind me is Henry Timrod, born in 1829. Again, can't make this stuff up. So I went, hot damn, there's my ghost. Quick history on this guy. He was sick for most of his life. He's obviously old enough to fight in the Civil War. He goes out to the battlefield to fight for the Confederates. His comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they sent him home, knowing he was a writer, and said, go be the voice of the war. So he came home, started writing poetry about what was going on the battlefield. He became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. Pretty prestigious title for us writers. A few years go by, and he has a son. You guys are going to know the history of the son? They're not. The son's name was Willie, born on Christmas Eve, died 9 months later. Obviously some big of a tragedy for Henry and his wife Katie. So a few years go by, he's still mourning and not writing as much. And his friend, Paul Hayne Hamilton, and I believe it was you guys that heard the PH, Paul Hayne Hamilton. There's part of the initials. I'd be more convinced if we had a double H. But anyway, he says, dude, you're not writing enough? Go out to my cottage. You'll have plenty of space to work out there in private, finish the piece you're supposed to be working on, and that's where he wrote his last words. Beholder of brief mortality, basically meaning person of short life. And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in the form of a blood stain. He had tuberculosis through most of his life. So that blood stain is still there, and it looks like a man writing. We call it the Blood Book. They show it 1 day a year at the Charleston Library Society. You have to be a member of the society to see it, but the internet is beautiful. So I'm going to show you the page, and then we're going to go give them a few tips on how we're going to go and get this down. When we go over there, I will tell you we're going to stay pretty tight next to them, so that way the other tours don't see what the hell we're doing. This is the Blood Book. If you can see where the man is. So that's obviously the blood stain that he put on, and then Beholder of Brief Mortality. So let's get over to them, because it looks like they've already put all their gear on, and I did not want them to do that yet. So let's go get them out.
We should all leave.
I just look over there, look like that. I'm like,
I got to give you a few tips before we truly get started. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have everybody huddle in real nice and close so nobody can see what the hell we're up to. I will not be writing anything down so I can stay focused on the questions. They have a very brief history of what's going on here. When you go under, you can already see, you've already been playing with it, it can be very disorienting. This is the only thing that I keep track of time with, so I'm going to keep them under for 10 minutes only. When we're done and we tap you out, sorry to touch your family members and loved ones, I'm going to have a family member tap you out on the leg, so expect that tap. It doesn't mean that something is going wrong. I also keep an eye on your breathing. I want to make sure you're not hyperventilating because these things can happen. Is your ear hole too big or something? Do you need another
No,
one?
I'm okay.
So expect that. If I tap you out, it's because that 10 minutes is up. It's not going to feel like 10 minutes to you, just so you know. Trying to think the other things. Oh, you don't need to shout. We can hear you. So most people go under, and you're going to have both earbuds in. And when you guys set your volume, I'm going to have a family member, whoever you came with, set your volume and set the device aside so we know you're not cheating. I've seen that in the past. It's way too obvious when people are doing that. So you guys get the point, right? So obviously you're going to set her volume. You're going to give the thumbs up and thumbs down. Like, hey, turn it up, turn it down, and then good. You guys get the point, so that way they know the hand signals. But again, tell us everything you're hearing in real time. Don't forget to talk. Some people go under, and it's like 5 minutes went by and nothing happened. I'm like, are you hearing stuff? Like, we tap them out, and they're like, yeah, I hear all kinds of stuff. Like, you got to tell us what the hell you're hearing. I'm asking questions. And we should also keep in mind this is an okay situation. I may ask yes or no questions based on what's going on around us. So it's okay to answer yes, no. So again, you're not going to know what questions I'm asking. So again, if we get a yes or a no, and I know what the correct answer is, obviously we have something going on.
So just respond with whatever we're hearing.
Whatever you hear. And again, keep it to a whisper. Video camera people, I want you in nice and tight, especially with this one. So get a view of both of them. Obviously, they're going to want to see this because they're not going to know what all the questions, and you're also not going to know the history until you guys get your audio back, because I'm not going to give it to you.
So far I've heard, Are You Ready, Mary, and Fatal Infection. I've heard it all.
I'm more excited about the Remember the 29 or something you heard along
Yeah,
the
Remember
words of
29.
Remember 29.
And then I heard April later.
I don't know. I'll write it down. It might be something. I'm not sure yet. The 29 is definitely something. Okay. So, blindfolds. Loved ones get in there with their spirit boxes, so that way you can move the volume up and down for them.
It's a dial near the
I'll show you where it's at. I just want you to control it. So there's a... So going that way.
I got French.
Well, what's it say?
What's it saying?
Everybody else, we're going to huddle in nice and tight, just so you guys know.
Just
No.
Yeah, this is not easy. This is why I had you guys wanting to play with it. You got it backwards. There you go. I know. Perfect.
I'm gonna start turning it up, okay? You let me know when it's good. Okay.
No clapping at the end of this either. That's a cheesy tour thing.
I like that.
That's good. Oh, okay. Oh, my bad. Wait, I'm getting it.
I hear a lot of beeping.
Set it down.
It's crazy.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm still standing.
Let's cuddle in. Perfect. So you guys got your cameras ready. You're good to go. All right. Perfect. I usually give them a 30-second startup. So it's 11:07 on the dot. So that would be 11:17. We're going to pull them out. So if we are looking to speak to Henry Timrod, I need you to confirm that you're here by telling us what your occupation is. Keep an eye on your word list, Jacob. We sometimes get the answers over there as well.
All I've got is French.
Just dismissed.
Just dismissed. So, Henry Timrod, please tell us what your occupation is.
Charles.
Henry Timrod, do we need to just dive right into your family?
I'd have just heard Maria.
BRESLIN hasn't said anything.
No, she's shaking me.
She's on D.
Henry Timrod, you know how this works. We've got two boxes here with red lights. You can communicate to us through that. The two people with blindfolds on can hear you. Please tell us your occupation. Well, I think she's whispering, so you might have to sit next to her to translate.
Alright.
She's really whispering. Henry Timrod, let's go straight into your wife. Tell us something about your wife. Her name, birthday. Henry Timrod. You're being very quiet tonight.
Drop. Rose.
Rose again. By the way, that house is 0.3 miles that way. Exactly. We often get things relative to the house.
Something about mistakes.
Mustangs?
Mistakes.
Mistakes. What mistakes did you make, Mr. Timrod?
$23.
His son died October 23rd. Can you tell us what month?
Boys.
He was a boy. Can you tell us what his name was?
Uniform.
What was your son's name?
Easy money.
Jacob, if you get any words, let us know.
Actively.
Tell us your son's name. I'm not convinced that you're here yet.
Somebody.
I'm not convinced that you're actually here with us, Mr. Timrod. If you're not Mr. Henry Timrod,
No money in the bank.
Stretch.
tell us what your name is if you're not Henry Timrod. Is there a memorial here for you? Wow, that thing's going crazy.
It's random letters though.
You have to scale it back a little bit.
Furthermore.
Ols. Provide resources.
Henry, let's be specific. Give us some family members, some details about them. Your son, your wife. We're asking a lot of questions here today. About 4 minutes
20
under.
people.
4 minutes under, so everybody knows. Henry Timrod. Let's go back to your occupation. Let's keep it simple. What did you do for a living? What were you paid to do?
63rd.
Can you tell us how old you were when you passed away? He was 38. See, she's really not giving us much.
Discovered.
She's going to be like, popping out.
Downtown.
Henry Timrod, you need to give us some kind of specifics here.
Gotten bad.
What's gotten bad? This is how I was supposed to get words out of Bella, by the way. Work. Henry,
Intelligent virus.
Henry, we need some specifics. If you're not Henry Timrod, we need the specifics of who you are.
Relationship.
What do we normally hear out of the church? Relative to Dr. Ladd's house. Bill. Okay.
Stone.
Oh, what do we normally get from the church? Some we get from the church. This has been an answer pretty much on a nightly basis. And it will come up. We've had it spelled out on yours. The word is obviously balanced. What do we normally hear coming out of the church, Henry Timrod?
Here's the plan. Challenge.
Dr. Ladd stuff.
Traffic.
There's 3 verse numbers of the address. 59. Do we have Dr. Ladd here with us? Because your house was nearby?
Maria.
It's the second time she sent me that.
Conversation. Right to the top.
Dr. Ladd, if this is you that's here, because we can't see you, Give us something specific about your history. It's because he's close to the EMF detector.
Apartment?
He rented a room.
So, say whatever.
Too big. Again, this is all big stretches, just so everybody knows. Like, I'm not super stoked about anything. I'm trying to piece it together, and it's all very vague. I would like to know who's here. Give us a first name, please. I'm looking for Henry Timrod or Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Tell us what you hear out of the church.
He became afraid.
How it ought to be.
There's that sound. Henry, what are we hearing right now? What just came out of the church?
Innocent.
I don't think we've ever ran that during one of these sessions, so kudos to you. Everybody keeps it on mute.
Looking in the face.
We're at 8 minutes. Henry Timrod, we are running out of time. You got to give us something specific, or else we're going to call it.
Baby.
How old was your son?
It's in the air.
I got hidden.
No, he's not hidden. Where is your son buried?
The people. The rich. The rich.
Leather.
I got frame.
Sound like machete. Dirt floor.
Consultation.
Dirt floor machete.
She got consultation, too. That's a weird sound.
Walks.
All right, Henry, I'm going to call this one. You haven't given us anything. All right, family members, let's go ahead and tap them out. So we're at about 9 minutes total.
I got Ron. Whoever Ron is.
I don't know. Video cameras, let's go ahead and put them to a stop.